What's up guys, I'm Phoenix Master 1 and welcome back for some more Fire Emblem Heroes. In this video, I'm going to be sharing my fodder tier list. Basically, it will give you an idea of which units you should value more in terms of skill inheritance fodder and which units you should send home to make some space in your boxes. This of course is my opinion. It's all from the experience I have of building many units in my own game, and I've had to go through this thought process many times because a lot of times I didn't really want to expand my boxes by spending some orbs, and this tier list of mine only includes 4-star and 3-star units. Most people do not send 5-star units home, especially with modes like Squad Assault and Arena Assault. The more 5 stars you have, the better it is. Unless you are some god level whale and you have trouble deciding if you should send some of your Hectors home when you already have a plus 10 merged Hector, that's just a first world problem. So for that reason, I have included units which can be summoned at 4-star and 3-star rarity. I haven't included any kind of Grand Hero Battle units or Tempest Trial rewards because they are available in limited units as it is. The link to my fodder tier list is going to be in the description down below. So let's begin, and I'll try to explain my placings of these units. I'll traverse from left to right. So in S+ tier, I've got units with one of the best skills in the game, and you should never really send these units home. Even if you get them at 3-star rarity, it is usually worth upgrading them by spending 2000 feathers for that one skill they have, which is super good. So in the S+ tier for sword units, I've got Hinata, Selena, Lonku, and Hana. Hinata of course has Fury at 4-star rarity, and he's the only unit who has got the skill at 4-star rarity, so that makes him extremely valuable, especially because Fury is just such a good skill. It's so versatile. It gives you offensive and defensive bonus by giving +3 to all of your stats, and you do take 6 damage after every combat, but you can actually use that to your advantage by using stuff like Desperation or Vantage or even Wrath for your slot B. And everyone knows how good Fury's skill is. It's just so versatile and makes your units much better offensively and defensively, so that's why I've got Hinata, and you should never really send Hinata home. And then I've got Hana here in S+ tier because of Life and Death, which she has. She's got Life and Death 2 at 4-star rarity. Even though this is just a version 2 of a skill, it is still incredibly good for offensive units because it gives you +4 attack and +4 speed, and it's really amazing. So even though this is just a version 2 of Life and Death 3, it is still very valuable in my opinion. So that's why Hana is here. And then I've got Selena, who is basically there because of Reposition. Reposition is the best assist skill in the game in my opinion, and a lot of people think that as well. So units with Reposition are really valuable, like Barst and Selena. And as a bonus, Selena also has Threat and Speed 3 at 4-star rarity, which is amazing, and Triangle Adept 2. So overall, Selena is just a very good fodder unit, but because of Reposition, she's in the S+ tier. And then I've got Lonku, who has got Vantage, and he's here because of that skill. And as we all know, Vantage is a very strong enemy phase skill along with Quick Riposte, and it's one of the best slot B skills in the game, and it makes units like Hector, Ryoma very threatening to face. And honestly, it's such a great skill for any kind of unit who has got high attack. So that's why Lonku is here. And then in the S+ tier for Lances, we have got Shanna and Tsubaki. Shanna has got Desperation 3 at 4-star rarity, and Desperation is the best slot B skill for any kind of fast offensive unit because it changes the order of your attack and basically gives you the effect of a brave weapon. So if you're in the Desperation range, you can attack consecutively, and because of the Desperation skill, many units can actually quad attack with their brave weapons such as Tana, Cordelia, Raven, and Hana. So that's why Desperation is a very useful skill. And as a bonus, Shanna also has Iceberg as a special which you can inherit, which is of course very good for units who have got high res. Tsubaki has Quick Riposte 2 at 4-star rarity. Quick Riposte is an incredible skill for units who are enemy phase units and who have got low speed. So Quick Riposte lets you double attack basically if you're above the threshold HP condition, and that's incredible because that lets some units basically one-round KO a lot of units despite their low speed, and it makes units like Black Knight, Eldigan, Ike, Xander, and Noe really threatening units to face in the enemy phase. So Quick Riposte is definitely one of the best slot B skills in the entire game. Reinhardt is also S+ tier even in this tier list because he has got Vantage. He's also another unit who has got Vantage along with Lonku, so that's why he's in the S+ tier. And then we have got Bars in the S+ tier for Axes because he has got Reposition, and as a bonus he has got Brave Axe. And like I said, Reposition is an amazing assist skill, so that's why he deserves the S+ tier placing. And Reposition is just a great assist skill that can be used offensively and defensively, and it can basically put any kind of unit out of the harm's way, which is super useful And in the S plus tier for bows, we have got Klein. And if you ever felt scared of going into the colorless hell to get that Takumi or get that Olivia, then just give yourself the hope that you might get a Klein. And Klein is honestly one of the best units to get for Skeletons because he has got all of these skills which are great. He has got Death Blow, which is amazing with many of the Brave builds like Shershi's Brave Axe build, and of course it makes Reinhardt such a monster. So Death Blow just works really well with the Brave weapons, and he also has Brave Bow, which is the weapon which makes a lot of the archers high tier along with Fire Sweep Bow, but obviously Fire Sweep Bow isn't really available at 4-star rarities. Not only that, he has another top tier skill in Quick Riposte, so he's got 3 really great skills, and as a bonus, he has got Glacies as a special, so Klein is just a very useful unit to have. So those were the S plus tier units on my fodder tier list. Now let's move on to the S tier units. And in the S tier, we have got units who have got excellent skills. These skills are not really as good as the skills from the S plus tier units, but still it is very good to have these units, and you should not really send these units home as well. So for swords, we have got Olivia, Erica, Kayn, Athena, and Roy. Olivia is there because of Hone Attack. Hone Attack is honestly the best Lotsie skill because it provides +4 attack to your allies who are just near your Hone Attack unit. And then we have got Erica, who has got Hone Speed. Hone Speed is just much harder to get compared to Hone Attack because only Matthew and Erica have that, and Erica can only be summoned at 4-star rarity. And Hone Speed is also another really good support skill. It's basically the second best Lotsie skill after Hone Attack. Like, anyone can run it. You do not really lose anything by running Hone Attack or Hone Speed as your Slotsy skill for a lot of units. And then we have got Kayn, who's there because of Wings of Mercy. Wings of Mercy is such an amazing slot B skill for a lot of units, and it's a horrifying skill to face in arena because you never know, any kind of unit will just randomly teleport because you failed to KO one of their teammates, and then they will just appear in front of you and just kill you. So that's why Wings of Mercy is an amazing skill, and it's a really good skill for a lot of singers and dancers. And yeah, Wings of Mercy dancers are a real nuisance in arena because you have to make sure that you can kill the enemy, otherwise they're just gonna teleport and kill your unit and ruin your deathless run. And then we've got Athena because she's the only unit who's got Vodao weapon at 4-star rarity, and Vodao is such a unique weapon and it can make a lot of the bottom tier or mid tier units really good because Vodao is an amazing weapon which gives you +10 to your special whenever you trigger it. So you can always just pair that up with Moonbow, and a lot of units like Lanku can run this because of their high speed, and units like Selena who have got low base attack can always run this weapon so that they can improve their damage output. And then we've got Roy, who has got Triangle Adept. Triangle Adept is an amazing skill for Raven Tome users, and it's a great skill for units like Black Knight, Ryoma, Xander, who want to check green mages like Nino despite their low res, and it helps dragons like Noe take care of Falchion users despite their effective damage on dragons. And Triangle Adept can often save units from oppressive units like Reinhardt, so that's why it's pretty good, and it can basically help a unit specialized take out the color they have advantage against. So that's what's really great. And then in the S tier for red mages, we have got Tharja and Henry. Tharja has got Darting Blow, which is a really good slot A skill, and then we have got Henry, who's got Green Tome Breaker. Now Nino is extremely common in arena because she can be summoned as a 3-star unit or a 4-star unit, so she's very easy to access. So that's why Nino is very common, and Green Tome Breaker helps with that because you can run Green Tome Breaker on a lot of your tanky green mages or some tanky red units and help them and check green mages. So the fact that green mages like Nino are so common in the metagame, I think that Green Tome Breaker Henry does deserve the spot in S tier. And then for the lances, we have got Matilda in the S tier. Matilda has got Hone Attack, and as I've explained before, Hone Attack is an amazing skill. And then I've got Oscar and Abel, who are there because of their breaker weapons. Lance units and sword units are pretty common in the metagame, so these skills do help a lot. And then I've got Florina, who's there because of her Darting Blow skill. Darting Blow skill is an amazing slotty skill, has got good synergy with Desperation and gives you a lot of speed, and is very good for a lot of offensive builds. And then I've got Roderick finally in the S tier for the lance units because he possesses Fire Sweep Lance, which is a very unique weapon which only he has got. So that's why I think that he is a very valuable fodder because of it. And then I've got Odin in the S tier for blue tomes. Odin is there because of his Blade Tome. In my opinion, Blade Tome units are very valuable as a fodder because other mages of their own color can utilize those Blade Tomes and run super offensive sets. So that's why I think Blade Tomes are very good, and they're pretty much busted, so that's why Odin is there. And as a bonus, he's got Moonbow and Red Tome Breaker. Moonbow is a pretty good special, but he's mainly there because of his Blade Tome. And then I've got female Core in there because of her own attack. And Nino is in the S tier with Cecilia because of her Blade Tome. And Blade Tomes, like I said, are very busted weapons. So I think they deserve the S spot. And even if you run a Blade Tome on a 5-star unit, like if you run a 4-star Blade Tome, it does not really matter because you're just missing out on the might and it still functions as a Blade Tome. So it's very useful even if you use a 4-star Blade Tome. And then I've got Cecilia who's there because of her Green Raven Tome. Now, Green Raven Tome mages like Bowie, Female Robin, Inigo have a special place in the metagame because they're able to check Reinhardt and Bravelyn, two of the most oppressive units in the metagame. So that's why I think that Green Raven Tomes are a bit more valuable. So that's why I think Green Raven Tome is much more valuable than Red Raven Tome or Blue Raven Tome. And Cecilia also has a very good skill in Escape Route 3. Escape Route is also a very good skill because it has got good synergy with skills like Fury. And honestly, it's just very good on units who take a lot of damage because they can always just teleport using Escape Route. And Escape Route is good on enemy phase units because they're going to be taking a lot of damage. And then I've got Faye in the S tier because of her Renewal. Renewal is a really good skill for modes like Tempest Trial and Chain Challenges. And it has got good synergy with Fury. And because of Renewal skill, Falchion users can function as a passive healer, which is super useful in Tempest Trials and Chain Challenges. And then in the S tier for bows, we have got Rebecca who's there because of Darting Blow, and Setsuna is there solely because of Bow Breaker. Now, if Bravelyn was not released, then I would have put her in the A tier because Bravelyn is just very oppressive, and a lot of Raven Tome units like Inigo, Shigure, and some other Raven Tome mages do require Bow Breaker because Bravelyn can actually quad attack them and just one round KO them with Brave Bow. So to prevent that, they have to run Bow Breaker because Bravelyn has got good enough res to the point where she can actually take Raven Tome mages hits. So that's why Bow Breaker is there, so that Raven Tome mages can ensure that they can always just avoid getting one round KO'd by her and can always one round KO her. And then I've got Gordon who has got Brave Bow. Like I've said before, Brave Bow is a very good weapon. Even if you use a Brave Bow from a 4-star unit on one of your archers, they perform really well, and Brave Bow makes a lot of the archers high tier, so that's why he's there. And then we have got Matthew in the S tier because of his Hone Speed, and Hone Speed and Hone Attack are super good slot C skills. And those are the S tier and S plus tier units. And in the A tier, I've got units who have got good skills, and they're quite useful for most skill sets because they have got assist skills like Drawback, Swap, or Specials, or Brave Weapons. So in the A tier for swords, I've got Pala who's there because of Moonbow, Wings of Mercy 2, and Good Flyers. Pala is actually a pretty good fodder, but because she has got Wings of Mercy 2, I didn't put her in the S tier, and she also has Moonbow, which is super useful, and Good Flyers is also a good alternative if you have got really bad luck of pulling Hinoka for your Flyer Emblem team. And Stall is there because of Swap. Swap is also a pretty nice as a skill which can be used on a lot of tanky enemy phase units and on armored units, so that's why he's there. And Seth is there because he is the only unit who can provide Fortress Defense 3 at 4-star rarity. And then we have got Fear who's there because of Glacies. Glacies is a 4-turn cooldown special and can be used on units who have got high res but low attack, so it definitely helps them a lot with their damage output and can be used with killer weapons, of course. And then I've got Drog and Ogma in the A tier because they can pass off Brave Sword. So those were the sword units in the A tier. And then in the A tier, I've got Adult Tiki who can pass off Lightning Breath to other dragons. And she also has Bonfire, which is a very good special. For Lances, I've got Cordelia and Donald in the A tier because they can pass off Brave Lance. And Cordelia also has Triangle Adept 2 as a bonus, which is super nice. And Effie has got Death Blow 2 and Very Fighter. Very Fighter is a pretty good skill for a lot of armored units like Zephiel, Sheena, Gwendolyn, so that's why she's there. And Death Blow 2 also works out if you do not have access to Death Blow 3 from a client. So Death Blow, even on its version 2 skill, is still very good. And Katria has got Luna, which is a very good special for a lot of units who don't really fit a criteria for other specials like Bonfire, Draconic Aura, or Iceberg. So Luna is there. And then I've got Perry who's got Threatened Defense. Threatened Defense makes a lot of 1-round KOs and 1-hit KOs possible because of the -5 defense debuff. So that's why she's there. And then I've got Sully who's there because of Drawback. Drawback is a very good assist skill, and she also has got access to Swordbreaker 2, which is pretty useful if you do not have any kind of A-builds. And Swordbreaker can also be worked at its version 2 skill, so that is nice. And then I've got Robin who's got Raven Tome and he has got Bonfire, so he's a pretty useful as a fodder because of that. but Blue Raven Tomes definitely are struggling in this metagame because Green Raven Tomes have the niche of taking on Reinhardt and Brave Lynn, and Red Raven Tomes have got the niche of taking on Brave Lynn along with very common green mages like Nino, Julia, and Sonya. But red mages are not very common right now, so it's definitely unfortunate for Blue Raven Tomes, but still, he's a good fodder. And then I've got Mei, who has got drawback, and she also has Desperation too, which is pretty nice. And then we have got Noe in the A tier, who has got Lightning Breath, and that can be passed on to other dragons, and she also has Threat and Res, which is super useful for a lot of magical units like Female Corrin and Bowie, who have got low base attack, so Threat and Res definitely helps with that. And in the A tier for axes, we have got Frederick, who has got Luna and Fortified Defense, and he's mainly there because of Luna. And Arthur has got Lancebreaker 2 and Swap. Hawkeye has got Threaten Attack, which is very useful on a lot of tanky mages so that they can preserve their health and stay in the quick riposte range. And then Raven and Camilla are there because of Brave Axe. Brave Axe is super useful on units like Shershi, Legion, and Frederick, who can make great use of that weapon. And finally, I've got Gunter, who's there because of Hone Cavalry. Horse Emblem and Horse units are very common in this metagame, so that's why Hone Cavalry is definitely much more valuable compared to something like Hone Armor, so that's why I've got Gunter. And then I've got Bowie, who's there because of Igneous, and as a bonus he also has Earth Boost, which is pretty nice. And then in the A tier for archers, we have got Niles, who has got Iceberg, and Leon, who has got Igneous. And as a bonus, Leon has got Guard 2 skill, which is pretty useful in stopping Quick and Pulse Moonbow Reinhardt. For daggers, I've got Felicia and Kagero in the A tier. Felicia has got Breath of Life Slotsy skill, which can be stacked up with Breath of Life Sacred Seal, and that can help heal your allies for 10 HP, which is really nice. And then we have got Kagero, who has got Poison Dagger. She's the only unit who has got that weapon, but the reason why I haven't placed her in the S tier is because of the fact that dagger units do struggle in this metagame compared to Wood Owl units or Fire Sweep Lance units or Brave Bow units, of course, so that's why I placed her in the A tier. And then for the healers, I've got Lissa, Riz, and Priscilla. All three of these units have got Rehabilitate, which is a really nice staff, and it is pretty much the best healing staff. And Riz also has Live to Serve, which is super useful for a lot of healers. If you do not have Wrathful Staff, then you can always run Live to Serve as your slot B skill, and Live to Serve 2 is also really nice. You do not really need the version 3, to be honest. So those were the A tier units. Now let's move on to the B tier. In the B tier, I've got units who have got mostly lesser use skills, and you won't lose much from sending these units home, but sometimes they can be useful. So we have got Male Corrin in the B tier because he only has Dragon Fang. Now you would ask me why I've placed Male Corrin and Sophia in the B tier when I've got units with Glacies and Igneous in the A tier. The thing is that units who have got low attack but high defense or res and low speed can run Igneous and Glacies, but if a unit has got low attack, they cannot really run Dragon Fang, if you get what I mean. So that's why I've got Dragon Fang units like Sophia and Male Corrin in the B tier. And then I've got Sheeta, who has got Fortified Flyers, and that's the only useful skill she can provide. Darting Blow 2 isn't really that useful because there are 3 units who can provide Darting Blow, so that's why she's in the B tier. Laszlo has got Axebreaker, and Axebreaker isn't really as useful as Lancebreaker or Swordbreaker. And Shershi is the only unit I've seen most run Axebreaker because she wants to 1-round KO Hector, and that's pretty much it. Not a lot of skill sets require Axebreaker, so that's why he's in the B tier. And Eliwood also has Axebreaker 2 at 4-star rarity. He also has Secret Cowl, so that's something, so that's why he's in the B tier. Martha's got Escape Route 2, which is also usable if you do not have Cecilia to fodder off. So Escape Route 2 is still decent. And then I've got Chrom. Now Chrom does not really have any kind of useful skill at 4-star rarity, but Chrom is the only really easily accessible unit who has got Ether, and Ether is a very useful skill because it has got a very high SP cost of 500, and that can give you a lot more arena points, and it can sometimes be the reason why you would move from tier 19 to 20 because the SP cost bonus is amazing from Ether. So that's why I've got Chrom in the B tier, because if you want to get more arena points, then you could definitely upgrade Chrom and have Ether, and you do not really have to depend on summoning some kind of 5-star unit for Ether because Chrom is available as a 4-star unit. And then I've got Sophia, and like I've explained before, Dragon Fang isn't really as good as Glacies or Iceberg, so that's why she's here. She also has Fortify Res, which is not really used as much as Hone Attack or Hone Speed. And then I've got Gwendolyn and Claire, who have got Dragback and Hit and Run respectively, and Gwendolyn also has Fortify Armor, and Dragback and Hit and Run have got a very specific usage on Brave Weapon users who have got high attack or Fire Sweep Lance units, and that's pretty much it. And Lucas is there because he can provide Sacred Cowl and also Fortress Defense 2, and Jagan can provide Fury 2 and Fortify Cavalry, which is something. And I've got Shershi and Titania in the B tier for axes. Shershi has got attack plus 3, which is a budget option for a lot of people who do not have any kind of good slot A skill like Death Blow, Life and Death, so attack plus 3 can work for that. And Titania has got Guard 2. Guard 2 also has a very specific usage of stopping Quicken Pulse Moonbow Reinhardt, and that's pretty much it. And Sheena is there because of Fortify Armor and Escutcheon, so that's something. And then at last we have got Batre, who has got Fury 2, which is not really too bad. Batre and Jagan's Fury 2 can be used for the meantime until you get a Hinata, and it's not really too bad. And then I've got Sorin in the B tier solely because of Fortify Res. At least it's a support skill, it's not completely useless. And then in the B tier I've got Virion. So Virion has got Astra, which is useful if you want to inherit Brave Lance from Cordelia to any unit. So you could pass off Astra from Virion and then inherit Brave Lance Plus, and Gale Force from Cordelia. So that's why Virion is useful for Gale Force passing, and that's why he's in the B tier. He's not completely useless, I guess, because of that one niche. And then we have got Saizo and Jacob for daggers. Saizo is the only source of Poison Strike 3. Poison Strike is a decent skill for a lot of dagger units and Fire Sweep bow units. And Jacob has got Renewal 2, which is still something useful for chain challenges and Tempest Trials because it will just heal up your units on the very first turn. And Jacob can be used if you want to inherit Drawback and Renewal 3 from a Fae, so that's why he's in the B tier. And then for the healers, we have got 2 Pain healers in Lucius and Azama. Pain gives like flat out 10 damage, which can be useful for a lot of healers who do not have Wrathful Staff, so that's why they're in the B tier, because Pain does have some kind of merit, I guess. So now we finally move on to the C tier. In C tier I've got units who have got very underwhelming skills, and they can be sent home, and usually I just send these C tier units always home because I do not really value their skills too much. And once again I would like to remind that this tier list is based on my opinion on how much I value certain units in my own game. So in the C tier we have got Salif. Salif is pretty much useless because he only has HP plus 5, slot A skill and rally speed. HP plus 5 is a pretty bad skill because we have got HP plus 3 Sacred Seal, so why would you run something like HP plus 5 over an offensive skill like Life and Death, Death Blow, or Darting Blow, or something like that? Like, there are many useful slot A skills, so that's why Salif is there. And then we have got Lilina and Ray in the C tier for the red mages. Now Lilina only has got Spur Attack, and that's pretty much it. She also has an AoE special. Now AoE specials do give you more arena points, but the difference in points is pretty small. It's not as big as a skill like Ether or Gale Force or a legendary weapon. So that's why Lilina is in the C tier. Ray is also in the C tier because Ray only has Seal Res and he's got Rally Attack, which both are pretty underwhelming skills. Esta's got Defiant Res and Seal Speed, which both are pretty underwhelming skills. And Shove is also a pretty bad assist skill. Oboro only has Rally Defense and Seal Defense, and Seal skills are pretty underwhelming for the most part. The dual Seal skills are pretty nice, now I'm not gonna lie, like the one which Summer Frederick has, but the individual Seal skills are not really that useful. And then we have got Beruka, who has got Glimmer and Lunge and Defiant Defense. All of those skills are pretty underwhelming. And then we have got Merrick, who only has Spur Res 3 at 4-star rarity and an AoE special, and that's pretty much it. And George only has Seal Attack and Blazing Flame as an AoE special. And then we have got Gaius, who has got Pass, which is one of the worst skills in the entire game, and Rally Speed. And at last we have got 5 healers who provide no good skill at all, and I guess Sarah can provide Hun Attack too, but we have got 3 units who can provide Hun Attack 3 at 4-star rarity, and not to mention 2 of those units, female Corin and Olivia, can be summoned at 3-star rarity. So that's why I do not really find Sarah that impressive as a skill inheritance fodder. So that is going to be my fodder tier list and sent home tier list. This tier list was requested fairly by a lot of people over the past few months and past few weeks, so that's why I decided to make this. So hopefully you guys enjoyed, and if you did, then please be sure to leave a like and do not forget to subscribe so that you do not miss out on videos like these and more Fire Emblem Heroes content. And once again, the link to my tier list is going to be in the description down below. So with that being said, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.